Welcome back to the Nerdrotic channel. My name is Gary Beekler. I am live in San Francisco, California, and I come to you from nerdrotic.com. And with me tonight, I have two co-hosts, both in undisclosed locations, Comix Division and Feisty Fan. What's up, guys?
Sorry.
Oh God, yeah, I'm good. I jet lagged. I was at a convention the last couple of days, had a blast. We sold out of all the publisher I was working at sold out of all their books, so we did
That's
good.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's so nice not to bring stuff home. Oh
Yeah, it was funny. He was all like, "Wow, I was gonna be happy with," because they debuted a new art book, so which is beautiful. I'll tell you guys about it after the stream. But yeah, he was like, I was gonna be happy with selling 25, and the rest of his books didn't show. There was a shipping issue with but we sold out of all 100 art books, so he was happy.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's awesome when that happens. So this is I guess we're gonna call it Farscape First Time, for the lack of a better name, because I haven't seen it and Feisty hasn't seen Farscape. This is our first time, and we decided to be crazy about it and recap the episodes live. And this is kind of a reversing of roles here on Nerdrotic channel, where you guys know way more than we do. Not saying that we know more than you on the other show, but you know what I mean. So yeah, so the Farscape fans, it's a place where Farscape fans can come and make fun of two people watching the show for the first time. It's kind of, there you go.
And I am the Farscape veteran.
Yes, we have the resident. Well, basically, it's Feisty and I are the Farscape virgins, and you are the Farscape slut. So, and that's what we are.
That's right, Farscape slut.
Yes, and or resident expert, whatever term you want to use. I mean, one's.
I would actually say Viking bitch is probably more of the resident expert than I am.
She is. She is in the chat. She is the reason this is happening. This is part of being a patron. When you're a patron, you get to request videos, and we have to do them, or we face the wrath of Viking bitch. And she is a Viking. So, by the way, if you haven't seen this for some reason, I have to show off what she made for us, which is the spoiler paddle.
That's awesome.
Alert paddle. Yes.
With those are awesome.
Yes. I actually have the sticker on my car, by the way. And yeah, so spoiler alert, in case you haven't seen it, we're the only ones who haven't really seen this. And guys, if you haven't checked out Farscape, it was a show I completely was against, and puppets and looked stupid and silly, and I was wrong.
Were you
straight
wrong?
Up saying I was fucking wrong. And I'm enjoying the hell out of it. And each episode gets better.
Yeah, so, that's something I was happy to see too. Like, I was like, okay, this is okay. Oh, this is good. And this last episode, I'm like, oh wow, this is actually really amazing. So
well, yeah. This is actually the worst season too. And that's the thing, doesn't necessarily mean that this season is terrible or bad, but compared to the other seasons, this is the worst season.
So it's kind of like Buffy. Yeah, I mean, like, not the same thing is like when we do Buffy, the season one's a little rough sometimes, but I still enjoy the hell out of it.
I'll have to take your word for it. I never got into Buffy.
Oh,
I could never get into that show.
I watched it to, like, I think the 4th season, and then I was like, I'm out. So
I was never a fan of Joss Whedon stuff. The only show that I actually liked that he did was Firefly. Oh no, I thought the rest of the stuff was crap. I know that's blasphemy.
Oh, I don't care.
The only time I made it into Hall H was for the movie.
I always get nasty looks from people when I say that. It's pretty funny.
You might get less nasty looks,
Jody.
Now, but what's up, Jody? Good to see you. Hello, Mary, Movie Finobi, Viking bitch. Welcome, Matt S. How are you, Mako? Who else is? I know I saw somebody else in there. Welcome, everybody. We will get to you guys in a sec. We're gonna go through the episode as best we can and talk to you all about it. And in the meantime, we are doing episode by episode till I figure this thing out, and that might be after we've done all the episodes. I have no idea. Like they said, you know, at the end of this episode, one day at a time, we're going to deal with this one day at a time. That's how I do my life. So we start. Yes. We start off with Dargo. He's in the midst of toxic luxinality, maybe. He's in a little bit of a...
That's the best thing ever.
Luxin blood rage.
The Luxin blood rage, which I almost felt on the road this morning for a little bit, but it was funny. Watch the live stream. That story ended really funny.
Yeah.
Oh, hyper rage. That's what's
hyper rage. Yes.
See, I tell you, you know, she remembers this crap more than I do. Not,
Okay.
you know, I love the show, but man, there's stuff I just simply get wrong.
So Viking Bitch, last episode, Dargo and Comix Division, sorry. And Dargo had mentioned how he hadn't been laid in 8 cycles. So is that what
Yes.
brought on the hyper rage?
Yeah.
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 So I mean, it looks like he might have actually got some, which might have helped. I mean, he wasn't happy about it at the end, but we'll get there. So he's after Crichton for some reason. He wants to just because he's the other male there.
He's the only other male on the
Yeah.
ship, and he even brings up why isn't he going after Rigel? And he's like, he doesn't view Rigel as competition.
Well, I mean, you know. But Rigel, of course, says he doesn't want any of me. Hell no. So he takes off in the Prowler and goes down to the planet that they're orbiting to go walk it off or something like that.
Well, and here's something that that Viking Bitch brings up is hyper rage means you fuck or fight.
Okay.
That's
So
the way you resolve it.
That's why Crichton was hiding. I understand now. I mean, because neither of those are really, I mean, I'd rather fight. But yeah, okay, I understand why he was hiding there.
Yeah, and then what Aaron says something in that little scene where they're all sitting there, and yeah, they're like, yeah, he's been gone for 3 days, and you don't know because you've been hiding so well.
Yeah, that was poor Crichton.
I know.
This season, he literally is the butt of all the jokes.
Yes. Fucking earthlings. Earther. What do they call him? Anyway, it's just an earthling or whatever. Earther, idiot, Crichton, whatever. So
I think
yeah,
it's called Crichton because
gets
they
a lot
like. Can you
of
imagine a planet full of Crichtons?
American Swordfish, what's up? Don't feel sick. Don't feel sick.
Don't feel sick, man.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Although Crichton probably did later in this episode. So they all go down to the planet to scoop up Dargos, get him home, and he's like, they find him and he's out of his clothes and he looks like he's in like yoga clothes or something. I don't know what he looks very comfortable, and they find him in a club.
It's very hippie commune.
Yeah.
And it's basically they went to like a Burning Man club and they see him in there and he's like hugging Crichton almost to death.
Yeah, well, that's the thing that's so funny is he charges Crichton. He's like, oh shit. He starts running and then he grabs onto him and Crichton's like punching him. And what Dargo's doing is hugging him. He's just like, what the fuck's going on here, man?
Is this part of it now? You hug me to death? I don't know. We got a nice little Mad Max reference in there. And while they're in the club, Rigel's macking down some food like he always does.
The tannic root.
The tannic root, right? And yeah, you know, everybody else is just kind of tripping on like how Dargo is like really not acting himself, very un-Klingon. And I've noticed he early on in the episode when he's like after Crichton, he has that one look that he always does where he's all looks down, and I've seen it like 9 times in the first 6 episodes so far. It's I don't know if they mixed that up a little bit, but yeah, it's becoming a thing. This now he looks a lot different. I've kind of looked ahead in other episodes, and he looks different than he does in this first season. Did they kind of cheapen out on the makeup in the first season, or does it start?
I think they started probably getting
bad.
a better budget as time went on. Yeah, I want to say, because this season, like his nose looks really weird, right? It looks
that's
like a
kinda what I'm
nose
focusing on.
piece, and I think they improved it over the seasons. It's been a while since I've watched the later seasons, so yeah.
So they're in the club and they meet Perry Farrell's mom, and she comes in. She's her name is Volma, and by the way, that was totally Perry Farrell's mom, right?
It was
like it looks well, or Perry Farrell, you know, in drag or something. I don't know, but that I totally got a Jane's Addiction vibe off that. Love Perry Farrell, by the way. And it's another episode of an alien talking in a weird cadence, which I love.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like with Farscape, it's like you get to play the game: bad acting or alien accent, or the way aliens talk.
Oh my god, that's kind of perfect.
Yeah,
it is, but it shows that that kind of tells me they're kind of trying, though. They're really trying to make things weird. All right.
Yeah.
And the show has definitely got weird in spades. It's great. Everybody's kind of they've got red skin and they're wearing like like the kind of hats when you're in the rice fields
I don't
picking
think
rice.
there's so much their red skin as much as they're sunburned.
Sunburn.
Yeah, because they're in
Okay.
the sun. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That's a good. Yeah, because well, you can explain it later or whatever. But what is it? So yeah, so they meet this lady, and then everyone's kind of tripping out, and then what? Dargo goes like he wants to stay here. Aaron's like, we'll just leave him, and then that's when Crichton like pretty much catches on, and he says, "Oh yeah, well the Woodstock did something to his brain." So
Yeah.
he mentioned hippies. I thought it was
Space
great.
hippies, man. They'll fuck you up.
And then of Volma, Aaron says, yeah, she gives me a Woody.
That's the part I love, is that even Aaron is starting to pick up on the Earthisms, but she's getting it wrong, and it's great.
No, that's awesome. And Crane's all, what? Oh, Willies.
Oh, what?
Willies, not a Woody.
You say it all the time, Woodies.
Yeah. When somebody's when you sense danger. So yeah, they're sensing something's wrong. They're gonna follow him out, and Rigel needs to go relieve himself. And there's an explosion when he does this, and they're like, "What the hell?" And he thinks he's somebody's trying to assassinate him again. And then Aaron says, "No, people have to know you to assassinate you. Only the people who know you want to assassinate you." So yeah, they have to take him up to the ship, figure it out. He's having some stomach problems. In the meantime, Crichton and Zan go to talk Dargo out of staying. So they find him, they ask around, they find him, and they find his little flat, and he's staying with some nice little native girl, and looking pretty happy, looking very happy
and very flexible.
Yes.
Yep.
And he's got a little flat, so he's like, I'm not gonna leave, you guys can stay the night. And he rolls down his little shag bed, and Zan and Crichton sleep together on it, and Crichton's like being all modest at first. And it was funny when they're sleeping together again, reminding me that this show was made 10 years ago, when her hand ends up on his crotch and then his hand ends up on her ass, and I'm like, God, they could never do that. That's something they could never do.
I know, dude. That's the thing that sucks about this show, is that there's so much stuff that happens that you just won't see anymore.
Yeah,
unfortunately, and it's sad to say that, because it's ridiculous. But I love that whole scene, because there's that very kind of awkward moment, well, at least for Crichton, not for Zan. Zan's perfectly fine. Yep. And if this was like on Showtime, she'd just walk out naked, get in the bed, and she would have been perfectly comfortable. Meanwhile, Crichton is completely uncomfortable with the situation, and it's only made worse when he wakes up and Zan's hand is on his crotch.
Yeah. Hey. Yep. Little cuppage action there. So Viking Bid, you're right that Dargo had found the promised land, and we don't know at this point what's wrong with Dargo, but it does kind of play into his character. Last episode we learned that he abandoned the Luxons for whatever reason. He was in that prison ship. It wasn't the reason we were told. Right. So there's something else going on. So we're finding out slowly that Dargo might not be the hyper warrior that we all think he is, and he maybe he's just looking for maybe a happy life. Maybe he just wants to be happy. So I don't know, but he seems happy. But then they're like, no, this is not you, dude. You need to come back. You need to break the spell, whatever. And Zahn was worried about him too. They slipped over. So they're having to play the part. So they get up and go to work. And they have to get work out of the way, because the next day is the day of rest, which seems to never come around, I guess. Yeah. So they go out and work in the fields. And Crichton, yeah. So there's plenty of room. They stay there. And they go out and they work in these fields, and they're like digging up some root or something like that.
Yeah, the tannic root.
And it's just weird seeing Dargo, farming, and he looks really happy. In the meantime,
well, it does kind of play into one of the things that he mentions in the episode. There's two things he wanted to be. He wanted to be a warrior. He wanted to be a great Luxon warrior, and he also wanted to settle down and be a farmer. And so those kind of ideals were kind of in conflict with each other. And this is where he actually has the opportunity to do so, even though, and we won't talk about just yet, things are going on chemically is the best way of putting it. But it plays into, hey, this is something I've always wanted. So it just makes those feelings more, I don't want to say genuine, reinforced.
Yep. No, absolutely. So it's not all that chemical compound. So Aaron and Rigel are back up on the ship, and we're still seeing the explosions, and Aaron's running around with her gun trying to look for what the hell it is. And she figures out, she sees a little snot or something under Rigel's nose, and she's like,
sweat.
Hold still.
He's
Sweat.
sweating.
Okay, it's sweat. Sorry. His sweat looks like snot. And
it does.
Kind of flicks it off with her gun, and it explodes. So we find out that his bodily fluids are explosive at this point, and that's gonna kill him. So they have to figure later. Matt, take care. Heading to bed. Night, folks. Don't forget to like the video. Yada yada yada. Matt S. We appreciate it. So
thanks, Matt S.
Yeah, like, share, and subscribe. So they need to figure out what to do, and they need to figure out what to do fast. And all Aaron has is Pilot to help her, and she's not very good with the science. Okay,
no,
yeah, I'm not the scientist.
But we need to figure it out.
But it's fortunate that Pilot is very well read.
Yes, very fortunate. But we also find out something about Pilot, a little bit there. So they need to isolate him, no fluids, and we'll get back to you later. Dargo, so they head off. They're gonna they head off to work, and they're out there working. And earlier in the episode, somebody grabbed Crichton from behind some girl and said, whatever you do, you can't leave here. And he's like, what the hell? And then she takes off. So she seemed like the only one of these people to not be under some kind of trance or something like that. So he sees her again in the fields, and he runs up to the train car, and he gets grabbed out of nowhere. And we got more worms being stuck into people and things being stuck into people. And this one looked horrible. And it's
very kind of reminiscent. I'm pretty sure the Wachowskis stole that and put it into the Matrix, because that whole scene, if you kind of compare it, reminds me of the Matrix a little bit.
Yep.
But I don't think they stole it, but it's just, there's some interesting parallels there.
It's Matrix worms. I always think of the bug that Khan puts in the Chekhov's ear too.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Well, it goes through the navel, so that's what made me think about.
That's right. Yeah, that's true. That's true. So it
no,
goes
exactly, Viking Bitch. This was before the Matrix. That's the reason why I said that the Wachowskis stole it from them. Yeah.
Yeah. So so he gets his little worm stuck in his gut, and he's not feeling too good after that. And they just said, listen, you're gonna be okay. This is the only way we can fight this off. You need to eat something, and we got to get to work. So later,
he needs to specifically eat the tannic root.
Yeah. Oh, it's specific. He has to eat that. Okay. So he doesn't eat it right away, and they leave him on the train car. The train car takes off, and he's suffering with this bug rolling around in his gut the whole time. I lost my place in my notes right now. So Crichton is just tripping at this point. Like he gets to the train station or whatever the destination was for the train, and it's like it's all trippy at some point. So he finally gets something. He gets some of that food and starts eating it, and it feels a little better, but it's not perfect. Like he's still feeling like crap. So in the meantime, back with Aaron and Rigel. Aaron and they put Rigel in the stasis. They freeze him. They cryo freeze him.
Yes.
And they're going to have to scan him and figure out what the hell's going on. And this is the point where Aaron's like, I really can't do this. And then Pilot goes, well, I can't either. I'm supposed to be learned in science, but actually, the ship helps me a lot. And she has a big,
because of the databases.
Yeah. So I rely on that, and don't tell anybody, and I thought that was cool because, Aaron has her issues with Pilot, of course, and he decided to trust her. So we're seeing some good character building again, some trust being built, and it's naturally done. And I'm always going to harken back on the show that does everything wrong, Star Trek Discovery, a show where you don't know any of the crew's name even by the end of season 1. I'm sure you guys haven't seen it. You've saved yourself $5.99.
I stay away from STDs.
Yes,
that's my thing.
So yeah, the one thing that show did wrong that this show does right is all the crew members' names, and you start caring about them, and they start trusting each other, and it's not just this dark, hateful place. So
yeah,
and
that's the big thing too. It's the likability. That's like a lot of problems with some modern TV shows in general is just the genuine likability of these characters, and the development is like, yeah, they may be assholes starting off at first, but as you get to know them, they soften and you find out why they are the way they are. Specifically like, how Aaron is.
Yeah. Well, and Aaron is supposed to be the hard, unlikable one, but I already like her. Maybe I'm the only one, but
I think she's awesome.
All the characters in the series is great. And I'd say by episode 2 or 3, you're vested in all of them. Even Rigel, who is probably I wouldn't say the worst. I mean, there's that dichotomy where he's pitiable. It's like I like Rigel, but he's kind of scummy. But at the same time, you understand why he's scummy. It's a lot of it is this facade that he has.
Yeah, that's that front, because he's secretly dying on the inside.
Yeah, basically.
I love Rigel.
Yeah, Rigel's.
I do too. Awesome. and that's a testament to the creators of the show who make this like not pretty puppet, right? And give him a soul that you actually start caring about. That's fantastic. Now, I'm also a fan of the Dark Crystal, so I can like puppets. All right.
I am too.
Nihilist Shadow says, "Wait, you're supposed to care about characters?" STD writers. Well played, sir or madam. I'm sorry. I always assume gender in the damn chat, and I got to stop doing that. Sorry. Chat, we will get to you momentarily. When we're done with the recap, we'll start doing the back and forth. So we also had Zan was out with Dargon. I might be getting ahead of myself, but it's they're
you also left out something very important where when they cryo freeze,
please do.
They cryo freeze Rigel, and Aaron snaps off his mustache.
And then and then Pilot says, "You better not touch any other appendages."
Yes.
And she's all okay. Let's just get going with those scans. Whoops. So now we got Dargo and Zan in the field, and Zan's trying to talk Dargo out of it. But I mean, he seems pretty much at peace. And she starts eating while she's talking, and and all of a sudden she is like, "Oh, this is like really fun work. I'm really excited about this." And so we're basically in the land of the Lotus Eaters at this point.
Yes.
Which it was a nice twist on it, by the way. So she's Zan's lost at this point, we think. So she's out there working in the field, having a good old time, probably gonna want to go to the club later and dance.
Yes.
They do that. Crichton, in the meantime, is having a really, really hard time. He God, I hate it when I lose my place. So he meets up with the girl again, and he's like, "What the hell is going on here? Like, you got to tell me what's going on." Or and he grabbed her, right? And he's all, "You can't scream or you bring attention to yourself." And she doesn't tell him shit. She doesn't tell him shit, and he's like, "What? I don't understand. I got to get this worm out of my stomach." And that's when he talks about like it doesn't really feel better after he eats. It's still like crawling around in there. And that she finally talks and says, this what's going on here has been going on for a little while. It's killing their planet. And some others had come down and started harvesting this root, right? And they don't know where. They're packing it up, and it's just decimating their planet. And it's been going on for a while, because Crichton had even brought up to Zan earlier that it's like they're regressing,
Yes.
And
they're regressing as a society because they used to have cities, and now they're basically desolate and abandoned and falling apart.
Right. And now some people are immune. What's the name of the food again that they eat?
The tannic root.
The tannic root. So some natives are immune. So this girl and her dad are immune,
and one other. Did you catch the fact that the dad, and I don't know if this is the actual actor, but it's at least whoever's doing the voiceover, it's the same actor as Rigel.
Oh, was it? I'll have to look at it. It probably
Their
is.
voices are very similar, so I don't know if that was the actual actor who played Rigel, or if he was just doing the voiceover. But if you listen, it sounds an awful lot like.
They do that stuff all the time. John
Yeah.
Rhys Davies with Treebeard, and in Lord of the Rings. So yeah, and Gimli. So yeah, we find out Dad's sick. He used to be a musician that people waited in line for, and he at this point he's like, I kind of want to die. This sucks. I'm like really sick of this. So the reason they gave Crichton the worm is like he has a ship. They need him. They need him to help get message to somebody to help fight, and we don't know who these others are yet. All right, and I know their leader, and I'm going to mess up her name, Valmo, something like that.
Valme.
Yeah.
Perry
So Viking Bitch mentions that it's not the same actor, but he did do the voiceover.
Okay. So they did
Jonathan Hardy did did Rigel's voice. So I think it may be him doing the voiceover. I don't know. Because when I see that guy talking, it doesn't look right. Sometimes you see some people and the voice does not match the person.
Oh, that happens all the time. Bad ADR and
yeah.
So her name is Volme. It's
Volme.
Volme. Volme. Okay. And she showed up earlier to introduce herself, and then she gets a hold of Crichton again. And Crichton's having to fake that he's happy or he's going to get plucked out. And if they find out that the root is not working on you, you get executed. So she's hitting him up like, you have a ship. You have a cargo ship, huh? That's interesting. Very interesting. We're going to have to talk later. And she just will look forward to your day of rest. And
and bring your friends down.
Yes.
You need to bring your friends down.
Yeah, we really need those two down right now. And he's like, oh, they're going to come down. Everything's cool. They're fine. So they do the scans. They're back on the ship. They do the scans with Rigel, and they find out that they just got to work it out of his system, right? They got to get another vial of blood, and Erin followed all the directions, and she basically scienced her way out of that situation. Wasn't clear on what the actual science was. Maybe I missed it, but it's not important really. But she was really proud of herself that she did it. She's like, hey, wait, I didn't have to shoot something, and I solved the problem. Whoa. And
yeah, there is actually a lot of growth for Erin in this episode because of that. It's like, she used her brain rather than her might for change.
Yes.
And that's something that she's not used to doing.
No. And it was cool to see that. She was all, I'm proud of myself. There you go. And she did good. So she's, calling Crichton going, hey, we figured this out. And he's like, things are complicated here. She's like, you want me to come down? He's all, hell no, do not come down.
Yeah.
It's bad. Don't come down.
Don't come down.
Right. So, you fast forward ahead a little bit. We got Crichton and Volme. She beckons him over at the club and says, hey, I want to talk to you about your ship. And she takes him into a little warehouse. But first she gives like, what's it like in space? Is it cold? Is there enough room? And can you carry some of this? And you see like just all these crates stacked up of the root.
Very large warehouse. Also, the other thing too, the symbol from a couple episodes back where Erin was fighting the Scorvian, or I think that was the name of the race. That is the Peacekeeper symbol because you see that everywhere.
Yeah, it's on flags everywhere, so it's no secret. And
Which was it like it was a Russian symbol used for some kind of propaganda?
Yeah, it was a Russian propaganda symbol.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, so Crichton catches this and goes, oh shit, oh damn.
Yeah.
But what Valma wants to do is get the fuck out of there. She finds out like, hey, if these people want it, it must have value. So it must have value in space. So you and me and your friends are going to take the fuck off, and we're going to leave all these people behind or whatever. And it sounded like she just wanted to bolt and sell some.
Yeah, well, she's just as much a prisoner as the people who are being brainwashed.
Yep.
And she knows that at some point this is going to come to an end because the planet's dying.
And they also mentioned that she had the worm. Like she was, she's really freaked out at this point and just trying to keep her people alive. Just doing the best she can at this point. Not necessarily evil, but I don't know. But she wanted to bail, and who could blame her? So Crichton has to hatch a plan, and she tells them to bring she orders to bring the other two down. And Crichton's like, okay, sure, we'll bring them down. And once they get everything worked out, they bring down Aaron and Rigel, and they set a little trap. And this was the most interesting way to wrap up a show I've ever seen. I've never seen something wrapped up with green pea.
Yes, the urine flamethrower.
The urine flamethrower. I was like, what?
Oh God, that was amazing.
So if you Farscape fans, so for normies out there, for all the normie, which I lovingly call the general public, the reason Farscape might be a hard sell once in a while is because at the end of this episode, you're like, okay, this is really great. It's like, the land of the Lotus Eaters, but at the end, the puppet pees green and it blows up. Follow me? Okay. And that's fine.
But that's great, man. That is so fucking original.
It is.
Yeah.
It's just hard to explain. It's a Farscape. I understand why, Farscape is loved by many, but it's also resisted equally by many. And people just need to give it a chance. I think that, actually the Farscape suffered what Doctor Who suffered from that too, for a long time. Long time here in America. People were just like, no, it's weird. But then it finally broke through. Too bad.
It did very well. I mean, it did last, was it 4 seasons?
Oh yeah.
It became very popular, at its height at season 4. And unfortunately,
well, I think its popularity has grown. Like, I think it's more popular now than it was back then. And if they brought it back, I think it would have a decent following. I'm kind of surprised they haven't. I think it has to be a rights issue.
Yeah,
I don't know. And the other thing too is, it's been a long time. All the actors are older, and it's like, where would you go from here? Because it's not like you can really pick up where you left off. It has to be 10, 15 years later.
Don't do Star Wars. Do Ash versus Evil Dead or Cobra Kai. That's where you go from there. And as far as being older people, can, if it's whipping themselves in the shape or something like that, it's possible.
Yeah,
it's possible.
Yeah.
Bib Browder, last time I saw him, looked fine. He was gold and in Guardians of the Galaxy, but he looked fine. Right. So they say they get Volma out there, and her security has bailed her at this time, and they use the green pea to kind of distract everybody and distract Dargo. Dargo was about to attack Crichton again to defend his peaceful little home.
Yes.
And it kind of snaps him out of it especially when Crichton mentions like, hey, this shit's going to peacekeepers. And by the way, what he just peed is what they're using it for. And this is what goes in all their guns. It's basically a fuel.
Well, and at that point, what snaps Dargo out of it is that he realizes what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't the green pea. It wasn't Crichton. It's peacekeeper. It's weaponry. What you're doing is it's getting.
This is the fuel for their guns.
Getting a lot of people killed. Yep. And instead of like imprisoning Volma, they just try to they don't try to dethrone her or anything. They're like, listen, we understand you're in this too. And it's another episode where they kind of talk their way out of it, which I kind of like. And they give her a chance. They're like, if we're gonna go down, we should go down fighting. So, and it ends with her, and Comix explained this to me because it ended really quick. All right. So it ended with Lana's, I forgot her name, the dad walking up and putting his hands up and Volma saying, yeah, but before we start the revolution, or we're going to have the real day of rest. And
that's the thing too, that you kind of pointed out, and something I wasn't sure, is it tomorrow is always the day of rest, but it's a work day. That was one thing that made me kind of rethink that, because my interpretation is that this is for real. We're going to rest and stop the shenanigans. It was my initial interpretation. But you mentioned this one thing. It's like, does the day of rest actually ever truly come? But
yeah. And do they get the day of rest, and are they going to start the revolution after that? And Viking bitch because I was a little confused by that, how it ended. And that's how it ended on the planet. They ended up back in the ship, and poor Dargo. And that's when he has that conversation was on where he's like, I've thought of 2 lives, and I like what Zahn says. She's like, really? Because I've thought of hundreds. I could,
I know.
And no, he's all 2, and I thought it was funny what he said. He said, the warrior and stuff, and he's all. Then I thought of the simple life with the wife and kids, and I love it when people say, The Simple Life with Wife and Kids. Spoken like people who have not had a wife and kids. It is not The Simple Life. It is quite
you actually look at it. It's like being a warrior in danger. That's not a simple life. I think in comparison,
dangerous life. It's a dangerous life.
Yeah.
Well, so can marriage be dangerous too?
Yes,
very different ways.
Yes, but yeah, I agree, sir. Well, we're all married. We know.
Yep. Oh yeah. There's Simple Life. What's a simple life? I'd like to know. But another very good, and we also had a good interaction between Crichton and Aaron. And the sexual tension between.
I already ship them. I ship them so hard. I'm like, they just need to get together now. Kiss.
Oh no, it gets worse in PK Tech Girl.
Oh, that's the next episode, by the way, right?
Oh yeah.
Yes. So it gets worse. And I do like the fact that there's a little bit of sexy in this show. Okay, because like that is one thing that's definitely lacking in a lot of modern stuff. I don't know what the hell is going on with that, but yeah, another end of another very good episode. I'm still enjoying the hell out of the series, and let's get to the chat real quick after our little rundown there. And I'll go to the top here. And of course, Mary says, remember the can't. We've always got to get one of those in on every podcast. Remember the can't with our great victory, saving the expanse. And you got me some Tycho patches.
I did. I know. I took a picture as soon as you want, because I even asked them at the booth. I was like, got anything Expanse? And they're like, yeah. So we pointed out a group of patches, and you told me that you want. So I got you 3.
I missed the MCRM one. I saw the picture later after you left them all. Fuck. So next time I'll have to at Comic-Con, I'll get an MCRN. There's not a lot of Expanse like merchandise out there. There needs to be more.
Got you more.
No, not even worry about it. And another thing that really kind of sucks about Farscape, and this is the only complaint I'm going to have about it, is like it's not fucking out there to watch. Like I would love for other people to be able to just like pick it up and watch it who don't own it. But that's kind of the hard time we're having right now, because when I started this, you could buy an episode or rent an episode for $1.99 on YouTube, and then like the second week I did this, they stopped. They cut it all out. So I don't know if it's going to a streaming service or what, but people can't watch along unless they go to Amazon and buy, I guess they can go buy DVDs. I never think about buying DVDs because it's
I did,
but people do. And yeah, and it's really cheap. You can do it that way. And honestly, the resolution on the DVD won't be much worse than the Blu-ray. I don't think the Blu-ray is like full on HD. So, I like how Rigel just belches when Zan is introducing everyone to Volme. I know, right?
Yeah, and I like it too. What was it? When Crichton was telling him, the basics of when you're sick, keep away from fluids, don't eat. And Rigel's like, what?
Yeah. Well, he kind of reminds me of that. It's that spoiled monarch. You can picture him as like Henry VIII. Big and fat, eating a chicken, turkey leg. That's basically Rigel.
Yep. Yeah. You know what? Duh. No, I feel like a total idiot. That's who he's based on a little bit, right? I mean,
yeah.
Okay. Duh. Now it makes sense. I'm slow. You frilling knucklehead. We thought YouTube hosed your stream. No, just Rigel hosed my stream. Rigel is always extruding some kind of bodily fluid or gas. Yes, I'm getting the gist of that. His appetite is large with 3 stomachs. Does he have 3 stomachs? Movie Finobi?
I don't remember. I think that's about right. And isn't I'm trying to remember which episode this was. This may have been the first one, which I didn't watch, but he farts helium. Was that in the first episode?
Yeah.
That's right.
Yep, he farts helium.
I want some helium. That shit is funny, Mary.
Yeah, it
is.
It's funny because there's like this one thing where he gets really nervous. He starts farting silently, and they all start. You hear their voices start going up octaves.
Oh, who thinks of this shit? I mean, that's good creative thinking.
No, it really is.
There's going to be more than we got 23 people watching now.
Yay!
We need more people to watch Farscape, but these videos will always be out there for you guys to check out once it eventually gets on a streaming service. I hope. probably yeah. And going down 10, going down there. Oh, we haven't even caught up to when I started. There we go. Been a while since I watched the show. I may have to dust off the DVDs. Yes, you will. I finally have. I was able to get it digitally, but I finally have my DVDs coming. So,
Yay!
yay!
I found them at a great store in Los Angeles. So yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, you found them at Amoeba.
Amoeba. If you guys ever get a chance to go to Los Angeles, go to Amoeba Music. It's like a warehouse of new, used music. Like you can get cassettes. I think they had some VHS stuff there. A bunch. It's just really cool.
Amoeba is a true like old school record store. We have one here on Haight Street here in San Francisco, and there's a version of it in San Diego called Lose Records where I used to frequent quite a bit. And yeah, it's vinyl. It's like the one place that never gave up on vinyl ever, even when nobody was like, they always had vinyl. They have cassette tapes, they have freaking 8 tracks, they have everything, posters. And the LA one's a lot like the San Francisco one. It's very psychedelic, except for the San Francisco one. You walk right out and then you could buy acid in Golden Gate Park, like right across.
It was pretty funny. The one time I took my wife to San Francisco, I took her to Haight Street, and because they had like the original Ben and Jerry's there. I don't know if I told the story before.
It's right up the street,
but
yeah, it's by Jerry Garcia's house.
But yeah, it's like we were gonna go there, and we're like looking for a place to park, and we're looking around. There's like all the the freaking homeless and bums, and she's like, yeah, we don't need to get ice cream. I was like, yeah, I think you're right. I can't find parking anyway.
There you go.
That's always a trend in San Francisco. I've been there quite a few times.
Homeless hippies.
They're all like 20 and on bikes and stuff.
No, these weren't like
well, you got the old ones.
This was like homeless hippies.
No, they're homeless hippies that are 20. There's a whole new thing of being a hobo again. Like there's like real hobos now, and yeah, it's been in Portland for a while too, because that was like the joke when I was visiting my brother was homeless or hipster or both. Right. That's called Hippie Hill, by the way, outside of Amoeba. I just watched Crichton going nuts from episode 2 last night. A literal what the fuck hyper.
Where are you at?
I'm like trying to read these ahead a little bit, and I get Movie Finobi just says I haven't gone by the name Ben Finobi since before Crichton was born. Ben Finobi. Ben Finobi.
Ben Finobi was my father.
So yeah, that's I'm trying to get through the chat here. It's a lot of crosstalk. Showtime was okay. So was Farscape, that miniseries at the end, was that Sci-Fi or Showtime?
I think it was A&E.
No. I made the comment about it being on Showtime. You would see probably Zan naked.
Oh,
and that's
gotcha.
Where
right.
That came from.
So that was on Sci-Fi at the end. They did that.
Yeah, they aired Peacekeeper Wars on Sci-Fi.
Don't touch the under appendages. Farscape and Matrix are both 1999, which was 20 damn years ago. Hell, I'm old. Yeah, it was. So season 1 of Farscape, did it? Yeah, the Matrix did come out in 1999.
I want to say it was earlier. I swear. I don't know. This is the problem with being old, right?
There's a lot of shared ideas that happen on screen that anybody ripping off anybody. It's just they both came up with the same idea.
Yeah, shit. It was 99.
It was 99. Yep.
It was 98 when it came out, but
no,
Matrix 99. Came out March of 99. Yeah, I don't remember.
I love the Matrix.
Oh, hell yeah!
I liked all 3 of them, so you can judge me all you want.
Oh, I will judge you.
I'll judge you for the 3rd one. I kind of like the 2nd one. I love Pilot and Aaron's relationship, says Viking Bitch. I do too. I'm kind of liking it too. It's complicated.
You get a very interesting dynamic between all the characters, and it's like the whole thing between Crichton and Aaron. It just gets way worse and more complex as the series goes on.
And that's
But
good.
in a good way. In a good way. It's not
Yeah, no,
bad.
that's good. That's something they try to force into shows now, like STD we were talking about. Also, that is why STD can't be saved. Even when Star Trek: The Next Generation season 1 was bad, the characters were good and could go somewhere. STD doesn't have characters; they have memes. Says
I think STD
Correct.
needs a shot of penicillin.
It does. Well, I mean, like I said in my video, you're right.
Sorry.
Nobody got past that. Nobody got past that when pitching Star Trek Discovery that the acronym was going to be STD. Like that, you should have said no at that point. Just call it something else. Call it STF, Star Trek Frontier, something other than Discovery. So that was not well thought out.
No,
No, it wasn't.
And it was all downhill from there.
Yes, and 1812 is the best DRD, but shh, they haven't gotten there yet.
I haven't gotten there. You guys, if you want to talk amongst yourselves about spoilers, I'll have no idea what you're talking about. Feisty might, but I'm slow. So, sipping on some fresh brewed Chinese green tea with some honey and lemon juice. I always enjoy this live stream. DLS Master, awesome. I love green tea. I like that really bad Starbucks green tea frappuccino that's like pretty much cocaine in a cup.
Yep.
That
Matcha
one.
powder, man.
Wow, that one's insane. I
know how to make those. I could teach you how. I used to work at Starbucks.
You did? Oh, were you a barista?
Yeah, I was a shift lead.
Oh, wow.
And I got my coffee passport, so I did all the tasting and stuff. So I'm like a coffee connoisseur or whatever.
Oh, good. You can tell me where the best coffee is down there.
So is barista like Spanish for underpaid coffee shop worker?
Yes, it is.
Actually,
exactly what it means. No.
Starbucks pays their employees pretty well, so
they do. Yeah, they do okay. I think some of them make $20 an hour here in the Bay Area, but that's still not enough to live off here. I still have all the Farscape magazines, which are high quality behind the scenes interview, look inside and uncharted territories, says Persian Scribe. I have seen them. I sold them in the comic shop. They are quite good. I think they're Titan. I want to say they're Titan, which is the same people who make Doctor Who magazine, which is awesome. Which is very, I still get it even though.
Yeah, we get one person that gets. They're actually subscribed.
Every comic store has a guy who gets all the Farscape. It gets either Star or all three: Farscape, Star Trek, or Doctor Who, or all three. Because those are good magazines. They are. I was hoping for a Xenu guest star appearance. It did not come. Come like a good kind of cult. I don't know what that means. Who's
Xenu? If you know anything about Scientology, it's a Scientology reference.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know nothing about Scientology.
It's fucking batshit crazy.
All right, and we're getting close to the show. We got a couple more here. They're talking about Lex. The show does a lot. The crew comes in, changes everything, and leaves without knowing what happens to the people they've changed. The day of rest for me was a callback to Animal Farm, where the crow was always telling the animals that there is a place where animals rest all the time and never work. Oh, kind of a lie you love. Mako, very good. I'm proud that. Yeah, I did not catch that at all. But I also read that book when I was 15. So there we go. And I hate it when the chat just like blips out of your. I'm like, what the hell?
Movie for personal stories and connections you don't expect from Space Muppet Show makes it so much better.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's it. That tells you something that the Space Muppets are more fleshed out characters than the $10 million episode Star Trek Discovery that you have to pay $5.99 for. So there, I'm not going to let it go. Okay. It really, as much as everybody's all mad at Last Jedi and Solo and stuff like that, I actually think Star Trek Discovery is a worse travesty and did more damage to the brand. People will come around.
I think we can agree that both are abortions to cinema.
Yes, they are. They're both, and having them both happen in the same year is almost soul crushing. Almost. But then we have The Expanse, and everything's better. There's still a huge following for Farscape. Says it's just not a normie show, says Viking Bitch. It really isn't.
No, it's really not. It's definitely a show you kind of have to have a brain to watch.
Yeah, and you have to be a kind of you have to it's a lot like Legion, right? Viking Bitch. It's a visual first show, and you have to be a certain kind of person. It's not smarter or better or all that bullshit. You just have to have a certain kind of taste to enjoy that kind of show. Like Legion's not is going to turn off a lot of people, but the people who love it, like me and Dennis and Viking Bitch, like really fucking love that show. But it's hard to sell it to people because they're like, what the fuck's going on? It's too trippy and blah, 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 whatever. Yeah, it's just not for everybody. It's like surreal art, some people dig it, some people don't.
Mako asked, what kind of coffee do you think Rigel would order? I just answered, he's a caramel frappuccino with extra caramel, maybe a little bit of mocha and an ad shot kind of guy.
Nice.
One of those, every box kind of checked type of guy.
Are you a coffee profiler?
Yes.
See, I got good at comic profiling, but not coffee.
Can you guess what kind of coffee I drink?
Yeah, I was just going to ask that. What is comic?
You're probably just black coffee kind of guy.
Oh, you nailed it.
Yep.
I know.
That's me too.
Yep.
My coffee's like my soul, black.
I like Eddie Izzard does a bit where he's like, I like my women like I like my coffee with the spoon in there.
Oh.
You're welcome. Dressed to Kill, you guys got to watch that stand-up. My favorite.
That's right, Mako. I forgot. I hate STD because I'm sexist. That's right.
That's right.
I always forget. I gotta write it in the mirror or something. You're sexist.
Yep.
Coffee passport. There we go. I love a good coffee profiler. I'm so addicted. It was so great when I was doing my little cleanse and I lost a bunch of weight a couple of years ago, and my doctor words that ring in my ear. They're beautiful. He said, you can drink all the coffee you want. And I went, really? He's all, yeah. I mean, 9 cups a day. He's all, yes, as long as it's black. I'm like, and I almost gave him a hug, but that would have been awkward.
Everyone has their vice.
Yep.
Coffee is one of mine, so I totally get it.
I gave him a copay instead. There you go. So we've come to the end of the chat. We've come to the end of the podcast. It was fun. I love hanging out with you guys in the chat and Comix Division and Feisty Fan. And we will be back next Monday. What's up? How's your father? We'll be back next Monday. Actually, you wanted to start doing it at 7:30. You said that works better because of your
my martial arts class.
Okay. Very good.
It's funny. Nobody does that.
I know.
Only people who don't go. I know. That's funny. I got to get you in touch with my friend Jay, who's a 3rd degree black belt in Kempo. So,
yeah, my instructor is a 3rd degree. He's
nice,
pretty awesome.
They should fight. That'd be awesome.
Mary, you can find previously owned DVDs on Amazon for really cheap. I got my season 1 for $11.99 plus $4 shipping, and it was. I mean, I did the cheap shipping, so I had to wait a few days for it. But yeah, you can get on Amazon.
Are you a Prime member, Feisty?
I am a Prime member.
Nice.
Yeah, that's how I watched.
Member too.
That's how I got to watch the 2 first seasons of The Expanse.
Hey, my opinion of Jeff Bezos has completely flipped. I freaking love him now because he saved my show. It was that simple. Because I thought he was just a horror person who was just putting bookstores out of business and stuff, and now I don't care.
Doesn't matter the fact that the man's Satan, but he saved the Expanse.
He saved the Expanse. So Satan, Satan did something God didn't. Okay.
Apple Crow asks what kind of coffee he is. I think you're I like some coffee with my cream and sugar kind of guy. Let's see if I'm right.
Little sweet,
little sweet, yeah.
I think Apple Crow's a depend on the day guy. He'll have a little sugar in it sometimes, and yeah.
I'm the type of person that needs a little.
He said nope.
Nope. I used to have cream or half and half in mine, but I don't know why I switched over to black. It was just, I guess, less calories.
Right.
That's a lot of people do that. They just get their their venti coffee, no room. Yeah, or they would be in line and I would get their coffee and set it in front of them and they're like, oh, this was why I like you. Whatever. Good customer service is important.
It is. Persian Scribe said we should try to get Ben Browder to come on the show. The cast would get a kick out of this, even after all these years. I think. Persian Scribe, I'll try.
That would be awesome.
That would be awesome. I know this doesn't compare, but I'm really into this guy named Randall Carlson right now. Some of you guys know him. He's like a sacred geometry guy. But I noticed he was on like a podcast with like 2,000 subs. No disrespecting somebody with 2,000 subs. That's a lot. We were there just recently. And I was like, well, shit, I'm going to start asking people. I think we got a decent sized number where, I mean, like the worst they could say is no. So, or not answer at all. So yeah, I will ask. Why not? And Susan is really good at getting through these people, so maybe I'll ask her for some help. All right,
that would be awesome.
We're gonna wrap stuff up. So guys, I need you to plug your wares. We're gonna start out with Comix Division.
Hello. I'm terrible at this. I'm Comix Division. I have a YouTube channel where I talk about comic book stuff. Lately, I've been doing a lot more live streams, as I'm pretty sure James Hayes will give me shit for not doing a video recently. But yes, I occasionally do videos, mainly live streams these days. I'm also on the Twitters as Comix Division. Comics is spelled with an X, no CS. And also, Feisty and Gary hang out with me on Thursdays. Although I think that day might need to be rearranged because you were reviewing Cloak and Dagger
for now.
But we talk about stuff. We talk about comics, what's going on, because both of them have either worked in a comic shop or owned a comic shop. We talk about issues related to the retailers, as well as other stuff, comics, fun stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and we're sitting on a good one that we need to get to. We'll keep that a surprise because hopefully we can get to it soon. Feisty. Loser. Yeah, it's been way too quiet for Feisty.
Mm-hmm.
Feisty has a channel. My internet crapped out. That's what she said. So
Feisty fan, yeah, go figure.
Feisty fan has a channel. You need to subscribe to it. It's the Feisty Comic Fan. It will be linked in the description when this turns over to a video, as will Comix Division's channel. It is wonderful. She talks about comic book retailing stuff. She does final order cutoff on YouTube, which is really unique because nobody does that. If you're into comic books, that's what comic book retailers do every Monday to before they order, and it kind of keeps them alive. And it's also you could find out, it's a good recommendation for good comic books. And if you're into the comic book thing, again, if you're into Farscape, we're going to keep doing this every Monday. We also we cover The Expanse. That'll be Wednesday at 8:15. We schedule all of our videos. Go to nerdrotic.com, look to the right, and you'll see our video schedule. I'm going to be, like I said to Viking Bitch earlier today, assaulting you with a lot of live streams this week because I'm off after tomorrow and I'm going to VidCon. So look for a lot of stuff. Yeah, she's back.
Ooh,
I already plugged you.
Gosh dang it. Oh, thanks. I'm like, of course. Well, yeah.
Time to say goodbye. So everybody in the chat, thank you so much. Viking Bitch, again, thank you for recommending this. This has been a lot of fun to do, and we're not going to stop doing it. Mako, Mary Ashmead, Persian Scribe, Apple Crow, James Hayes, what's up, dude? Ray Rain, Movie Fanobi, Powered by Plants. God damn, some of these names are hilarious, man. Going up, yes, I do thank everybody who comes in the chat. How's your father? Rolling up there. I know I saw one. Nihilist Shadow, Mako, and Jody. What's up, Jody? And if I missed anybody, I'm terribly sorry. And we'll catch you next Monday. And again, our next show is tomorrow night, 12 Monkeys, 8 p.m. Pacific time. Say goodnight, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.